Carole King, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, and it's good to see you back.
Yeah, well, it's great to be talking to you. That amazing clip that we played is what kind of almost everybody knows, but nobody really has focused in terms of pop culture or mass culture on what you did to take off to where you are right now in the 70s and devote so much of your life to the environment. What prompted you to do that?
Well, I live in Idaho, and I moved to this state in 1977, and for 38 years, a forest was my nearest neighbor. So I got involved when I realized that the extent of the logging is much more than people know. And in this time, when so many people around the world are concerned about climate change, people need to know that logging in the United States emits an amount of carbon comparable to burning coal in the United States. It's annual, it's a comparable amount. And logging is really a big problem, and we subsidize it. So when we're asking other countries to stop deforestation, how can we do that credibly when we're not only allowing it in our national forests, we're subsidizing it?
And Carole King, what reaction have you had when you go to, Congress and other official places to try to, influence them to actually stop it? Because you're absolutely right. Deforestation is one of the greatest threats to our environment right now.
Well, I have been advocating for a specific bill, the Northern Rockies Ecosystem Protection Act, which does what it says it does. We call it NREPA by its acronym. And Congress has been very receptive, but unfortunately not receptive enough to pass it. At one point, we had 188 bipartisan co-sponsors in the House. Now there's a bill in the House and the Senate. But absent this bill, what's going on is that logging is being facilitated by the administration's Forest Service, and that's been over multiple presidents. And they facilitate logging to the point where we're told, oh, it's fuel reduction, it slows wildfires, it's vegetation management. All the euphemisms boil down to leaving clear cuts. And that's what's happening without this bill. And the logging is also now mechanized. So it's not even about jobs. They get in a machine called a feller buncher, and the machine grabs a tree and saws through the bottom of the tree, then takes the tree to where the leaves are stripped, and then it piles the former tree into a pile of logs in just the time it took me to say this.
So you must, you must feel pretty devastated then by the recent Supreme Court ruling against the EPA, specifically against the ability to regulate carbon emissions from existing power plants.
There's actually so much devastating news coming from the Supreme Court lately, but we have a tool. There's a tool that I mentioned was the NREPA bill, which would protect those lands if Congress would pass it. But I know Congress is having a difficult time right now passing a lot of things that should be passed. But the other thing is President Biden has the ability and the power to today, he could sign an executive order stopping logging, pausing it, put a moratorium, whatever the language, stop logging in our national forests. And that is what's incentivizing the timber companies to log, because we subsidize it. And that is why they log in our national forests, because we help them pay for it. If they don't log in our national forests, they still have plantations and private lands that they can use. So we would not be without lumber. That's what President Biden can do, needs to do.
You're obviously clearly so passionate. And this is not just, as I said, this is decades that you've been doing this. You're also, as we just saw, so passionate in your words, in your music, in your performances. Are you a natural activist? Does it come naturally from your performance on stage to be able to take this actual fight to the politicians where it matters? I guess, how does each part of your life and your activities reflect on each other?
Well, the word that you used is passion, and creativity and intelligence are all required to be, for me anyway, that's what I apply to being an artist. And to being an activist, those are the same things I apply. And it was a calling. When I saw what was happening, when I walked into a clear cut, I had those emotions, and I know you want to transition to the other topic, and I want to, but I just want to say, I just want to ask people to go to whitehouse.gov, contact us, and let President Biden, he needs to do this right now. Stop logging in our national forests. We are in a climate crisis. And now transitioning, that passion is the same thing that I write with. I'm passionate about the things when I write about love or being a friend, or even fun songs like Feeling the Earth Move or Locomotion wasn't my lyric, it was Jerry Goffin's lyric, or Natural Woman, again, was his lyric. We bring a sensibility to our art and our creative writing that it's an easy transition when you're passionate about a cause, and many artists have causes.
Mm-hmm. And yes, they absolutely do. And some are not taken as seriously as they would like to be taken. But I mean, clearly, again, you have done such a huge amount of work on this issue. I just wonder, in Idaho, are you still playing the piano? Are you still writing? Are you writing about this, for instance?
No, I don't. When I was younger, I wrote songs about my love for the environment. Like I have a less well-known song called Morning Sun that talks about the rhythm of the seasons. And I was influenced. There are seasons everywhere, but in Idaho, they're just absolutely so dramatic. Winter is really winter. And summer, I guess, is where we are now. And right now, it's beautiful. It hasn't been that hot. So yeah, I'm not writing now so much. I'm really the climate crisis is so dire that I just am putting most of my energy into trying to get people to understand that logging, not just fossil fuels, but logging really is part of the problem. So that's what I'm doing.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I'm interested in, but I could even, frame it in your environmental work. You have reached a certain age, exactly the same age as Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney, and they're still performing live. In 2016, you were here in London, in Hyde Park, and that was your last live performance. And the Brits and everybody who managed to get tickets were thrilled. Americans felt a little bit left out. Would you do another live performance, and would you do it to benefit the environment or to raise awareness?
Well, I would never say never, but I'm 80 years old. That is right, the same age as Paul McCartney and those guys, and God bless them. I feel like, I just feel that was a very high note, and I have performed in America for many, many years, so, I don't think I owe Americans an apology, but I was really happy to go out on that particular show, and I think that will probably be my last major live performance. And I'm now just so, like I said, the climate crisis is so dire that I just feel that whatever I can do to influence anybody, if I educate one person with this appearance on your program, and I'm sure it'll be a lot more, and they do something and get in touch with Biden and support the Northern Rockies Ecosystem Protection Act, that's a thing I can do. And so that's where I'm putting the energy.
Well, and your legend, is actually going to be turned into a big screen movie. Sony wants to take Beautiful, which was the musical that played in the United States and in the UK, and make it, a big musical on the big screen. How do you feel about that? And again, I mean, look, it could be used in the service of your great mission right now.
Well, it could be. I mean, the movie industry, I don't understand it. I've been close to it. I've worked with people in it, but things take however long they take. I don't know when the movie will be done. It hasn't been filmed yet. And the fact that there was a play, and I didn't really want the play to be made because I'm sort of a private person. And when they made it, they did such a good job that it had a 6-year run on Broadway. And I believe it's still touring in the United States. And I know it toured around the UK as well.
Indeed, indeed. It's still packing them in. Look, I want to ask you, because you mentioned, well, I asked you about the Supreme Court, and you said there's a whole lot that's just come out of there that's quite troubling. And I'm assuming you mean, you know, the rollback of women's rights with the Roe versus Wade decision. And I'm just going to throw this in because you have had to stand up for your rights. You were in something of an abusive marriage. You decided you couldn't talk against abuse and still take it. You had to leave. And I think that propelled you to go to Idaho and to fall in love with the state you're in right now. Talk to me about women's rights, whether it's in terms of abuse, whether it's in terms of reproductive threats.
Well, first of all, I want to clarify that I don't consider it might have been, but the marriage with Jerry Goffin was not the abusive marriage. That one was later, and that was the man that actually got me to come to Idaho. Back to the Supreme Court. Yes, I am very passionate about those issues as well. Voting rights you didn't mention, but of course. You know, they're gutting everything, and it's like, it does seem like the cruelty is the point, you know, just because we are going to show our power, and it's hurting so many people. So I am political beyond just the environmental work because I have personal knowledge of the forest, and I work with activists, grassroots activists on the ground. That's why I got involved in that, but I am politically active, and what I believe is the solution. Okay, I'm going to get very 30,000 foot here, but I am 80, so give me that.
You go right ahead.
There are cycles. There are cycles. I mean, history has cycles. We've been through bad times before. I'm not sure they've ever been this bad in terms of the absolute knocking down of the pillars of our democracy. But I feel that if everybody as like one little molecule in the whole organism that is society, you know, which comprises so many different kinds of people, a lot of people are struggling and don't have time to think about politics, but politics is affecting them. And I think shows like yours are so valuable because people watch them and they learn. It's not just, oh, we're filling time. You are educating people. And that's what I see my role as, is educating people about issues I know about and encouraging people to get involved, to educate themselves from more than just one source so that you can make an intelligent decision. And get involved and do it in a knowledgeable way and band with other people, organize and vote, because that's the foundation on which our future rests. And the same thing is true about the climate crisis. Act, take action, write to the president, write to the Congress people. Be involved would be my overarching message to everybody that is outraged as I am about some of these decisions. And to people on the right who believe they're doing the right thing, I acknowledge that they believe that, but not everybody is telling you the truth.
Carole King, thank you very much. And just to again reiterate, you came out and tweeted, "Don't despair, organize and vote." So just to reiterate what you were just saying, thank you so much for all your work, for music and indeed for the environment. Thanks.